All right, what is up, my brothers? I have a sponsored request in front of me from a gentleman that has been watching my content for a few years and had a chick ghost him, basically gave him the "I need some space" line. So let's get into this and see what happened and what he did and if the response was appropriate. But generally speaking, women like this, you do want to avoid, and I'll explain why in this video. He says, "Hey, Rich, I've been following your content for about 2 years now, right after breakup with a cohabitating LTR, and I thought I was going to marry her. I spent the last 2 years building my game, sexual market value, and chasing excellence at the same time. I've dated, slept with dozens of women, and have had a great time doing it. Only recently I've started to reconsider another long-term relationship, and mostly because I have 3 to 4 different ventures going on right now. I simply don't have the time or desire to spin a bunch of plates. I totally get it. Spinning plates is exhausting and it can be a waste of time. So an LTR does have some value. I recently met a chick about 2 months ago and we went on 3 to 4 dates. I certainly wasn't ready to jump into anything serious, but she definitely passed the sniff test on a chick I would consider more than just a plate. No serious red flags, feminine, attractive, 3 years younger than me. I went out of town for Thanksgiving and she even took me to the airport when I left and said she would pick me up when I got back. We texted sporadically throughout the week, with the exception of Wednesday, where at the end of the day, she sent me this long text message about how she had been dealing with I've been dealing with some things, and she wasn't in the headspace to talk to anyone. End quote. My red flag sensor started to go off, but I started to play it cool and figured she would want to discuss it in a few days when I got back. By the way, I have a meme I'm going to show you, which kind of like simplifies this entire thing. I'll get to that in a second. She picks me up from the airport a few days later, and we had already made plans to get a late lunch by a spot near my place, to which I'm thinking this would finally be the opportunity for us to smash for the first time, as logistically, it just hadn't been working out yet between other commitments and travel. We got upstairs to my place, made out, but when I went to escalate, she stopped me and said, "I've had a lot on my mind." I thought, whatever, we'll go grab food and then get back here after, try again, no big deal. That's probably the right way to handle it. We go sit down, and after 5 minutes, she spills it out. Tuesday night, she ran into an old ex. There it is. A guy she said she was in a 1.5-year situationship. Let me say this, guys. If a chick gives you that it was complicated, it was a situationship, but she speaks fondly of the guy, like he's always on her mind, sort of thing, like he's living rent free in her mind and in her heart, sort of thing. That's an alpha widow. Like, that's a woman that hasn't gotten over a guy from her past, which she deemed to be high value. In many cases, if she can't get over him when she's dealing with you, that generally means she saw him as higher value than you, which is why she always thinks about that dude. You never want to be a chick's second, third place, pick. Always be her first choice. Chapter 3 of my book, Genuine Burning Desire, The Unplugged Alpha. If you haven't read it, get it. It's on Amazon. It's also pinned below in the top comment. Genuine burning desire matters. You let her pine for another guy, bad things are going to happen later on down the road. Anyway, so the situationship, and which ended as recently as September. So I got this email early or mid-November, was it? So this is within a few months. It's very, very recent, because he was talking about Thanksgiving, which is very recently too. And he said, "I did not know about this." So this is the first time that it came up. She kept it hidden for good reason, because she probably knew intuitively that revealing that she had been alpha widowed by another guy would make her less desirable to the new guy. But she revealed it, I'm guessing strategically, to try to create some distance, to give her an opportunity to go back to the old guy and put this gentleman who's writing the email at some arm's length. Not to tell him to get lost and go away, I never want to talk to you again, but to a little bit of arm's length. That's why he got the situationship. I had a lot on my mind, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. She told me that she basically freaked out and just started ripping shots because her anxiety went through I'm guessing, shots of booze. And he even came over to say hi to the group. Is this in a bar? She told me that she basically freaked out and just started ripping shots because her anxiety went through the roof. And he even came over to her to say hi to the group. So it sounds like she ran into this guy at a club or a bar or a restaurant. He walks over to the group, says hi to the group, but she was purposely ignored by this guy that alpha widow. So not only is she not over the guy, but the guy comes over to the group, says hi to everybody else but her, and ignores her. Ooh, this guy's got some game. She then left the bar abruptly and spent the next day all in her feelings over this dude. Can you imagine, fellas? You have such an impact on a woman. You imprint on her so deeply that when you run into her in a bar and her friends. You go over and talk to all of her friends, and then she goes home crying about it the whole next day over not being acknowledged or recognized or whatever. That's okay. This is definitely an alpha widow. There's no question about it. So it goes on to say, long story short, she told me that she really likes me, but wants to take some time and space to heal. I'm going to show you what space looks like in a minute, because she didn't know that the guy still had this effect on her, and she needs to work on herself. Yeah, no kidding. So she can actually pursue a relationship with me. This is like probably where she's going to lean into like calling the guy, wanting to see him. Can we get coffee? This is usually when she tries to re-spark what she thought she had that doesn't exist because the dude ignored her. Anyway, that's not a good sign. I mean, if a dude ignores a chick that he was with or gets into a situationship, that's usually an indication that she's not worthy of your time, gentlemen, right? Like, think about that for a second. Anyway, she said she doesn't want to stop talking, hanging out with the gentleman writing this, but that she wanted to take things slow. I basically said, no, I'm good. Reach out to me when you figure things out, and maybe I'll consider or be available, and to not reach out to me until then. That's the right way to handle it. I don't need friends. I don't need to keep in contact with you. Like that's it, right? There's no be a shoulder to cry on for her. It's like, look, you either dig my vibe and you're into it, or you're not. Get lost in pound sand. And he did the exact right thing. So tip my hat to you, my friend. Here are my takeaways, and I'm wondering if you'll agree, disagree. One, she was alpha widowed by this guy, and time and space is just her excuse to see if she can salvage what she had with him. I'm essentially second choice. 100%. This dude knows what he's talking about. He's been watching my videos and read my book. Bravo. Number two, she tried to friend zone, take it slow with me so she can still get attention from me while pining for this other guy. She wanted to keep you at arm's length, my friend. It's like, I like you. You're good enough for me to see. You're good enough for me to drop off at the airport. You're good enough for me to text while you're away. You're good enough for me to pick you up from the airport. I like you that much, but I don't like you so much that I can't forget about this dude that I ran into the bar that totally fucking ignored me and I cried about the next day. I don't like you that much that you replace what I feel for him. That's what she's saying, essentially. Number three, the only option was to walk away and leave the door open. Sorry, the only option was to walk away and leave the door open. But now I'm thinking that even if she does come back, this guy imprinted on her to the point where trying to even have a relationship with her after this weak move, I'll always be the beta in waiting for her. Basically, yeah, I mean, there's no way around it, bro. It's like, it's hard to hear that or to even want to deal with it. But the truth of the matter is, like, that's what it is. I mean, even if you were to take her back or even offer to, continue to see her again, the problem with that is you're always going to be her second choice. She picked that guy or pursuing that guy or thinking about him over you. And when she either figured out that he wasn't the one, or he didn't reciprocate her feelings and told her to get lost again, then she goes back to you and says, hey, buddy, here I am. Remember me? Sorry, I did what I did, and blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can spark this back up. So when a woman says, I just need some space, that's the space. On a balance of probabilities, more often than not, that's exactly what she's up to. So don't be the guy that, allows themselves to be taken advantage of or abused by a woman that hasn't got her head screwed on right, that's still dealing with old wounds, that's been alpha widowed by some random situationship. I love that. I'm in a situationship, or I was in a situationship with basically, he just used you for fun. You wanted more. He didn't want more from you, ma'am. And then you got, you probably put your foot down and said, well, if I'm not going to get what I want, then I'm going to go. And he said, all right, see you later. Because he's probably got a bunch of other options, probably better options, which is why he let her go. And then she just never got over it. And she's like, fuck it, I'm going to go on dating apps and get the attention of other guys. And this guy matched up with her. They started chatting. They go out on a few dates. He buys her drinks. They go out. He's hoping for more. He's thinking, these plates that I'm spinning are a real pain in the ass. I like this one. And that's what happens to the guys. We always get like stuck on the one that doesn't have the genuine burning desire. A lot of guys it's like this vacuum. It's like, she's hot. She ticks off my boxes, or I think she ticks off my boxes. And then there's this vacuum that sucks you in to this vortex of some chick that doesn't really like you as much as you like her. And in every relationship, there's always one person that has more desire for the other person. Like, you're never going to be equal. Oh, like I love her this much and she loves me that. Like it's never that way. There's always one person that likes the other person more. And from what I'm gathering by what I've read over here and what we've gone through, it definitely sounds to me like he dug her vibe more than she dug his vibe, which is why she said, I need space. We know what space looks like now. And then she went to go and explore space. So in situations like that, completely correct. Avoid women like this. Do not deal with women that don't see you as their first choice. Look, if she comes back and it starts to pull like intimacy things or friends with benefit thing, you want to do whatever you want. Okay. But at the end of the day, you invite a chick like this into your life that said, when you said, I want to see you more, I want to be more intimate with you, I want to do more things with you going forward in the future. And she's like, no, I need space. My head's not in the right place. I got to get over whatever it is that I'm in. You know exactly what she's doing. Okay. Don't be anybody's second choice. Don't be anybody's bitch. Okay. If you're ever going to deal with a chick, her first choice, genuine burning desire or nothing, in my opinion, because I believe the vast majority of divorces, guys that get destroyed through domestic violence allegations, family law, guys that like have their lives turned upside down on them are from women that don't have genuine burning desire for them, or they never had it for them. So you can maintain that over a long period of time with Frame. I talk a lot about that in my book and a bunch of other podcasts and the Unplugged Alpha podcast series on YouTube. You're going to have to go look that up. It's also pinned below. But yeah, that's the general concept of what we're dealing with this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment below with your assessment, a thumbs up, and pinned in the top comment, there's a bunch of useful links. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.